Like, wait,
What's happening?
what's going on? So I asked you earlier this morning if you've ever dealt or seen a message in a WhatsApp group for the office, because all offices apparently have WhatsApp groups, the entire office, and someone writes something, and you're like, and it's not bad luck. I'm not talking about CG only send picture nude CG by accidentally or you
Yeah.
send to the wrong group. No, no, no. Calculated and meant exactly for that group.
Yeah.
Have you ever had something that blew your mind like that?
Well, I've seen people do some very audacious things on the office WhatsApp groups, but my personal best
Yeah.
was when I decided to just send an email. I was like 21, 22 at the time, and I thought it was a brilliant idea. I was just hot in this new environment. I used to work for like an ERP solutions company, yeah.
Yeah.
So check in, and I'm there. I'm like, oh my god, I can bring this, office to life. So I send an email, copy all my directors, copy the entire office, and I say, guys, we should come up with a rap for the office. And I even went on to give everybody their own job, including my boss, God rest his soul. He passed away a few years ago. And I was like, you're gonna be a DJ Edu, and I will be with the ad libs, man. It's how the entire office were like, are you okay? I thought it was funny. I don't know how guys didn't find it funny.
I'm just sitting here and I'm thinking, yo, what kind of a boss was he? Your late boss.
Man, he was a cool guy until he wasn't a cool guy. He just had a temperament that was, if he was stressed, you'd know. That's what I liked about him. He was not one of those things to hold on to grudges. He would always know, but he also just used to use some very, very foul language.
Ooh.
He was one of those.
Well, I can tell you this. I can assure you he's settled down now. Now, I'm talking about WhatsApp group, and this is the office WhatsApp group. So we open a capital group, home group. We have a lot of departments, so a lot of different WhatsApp groups. But
Correct.
then our MD was like, guys, wouldn't it be dope if we just had one source of information where we can all share and you know exactly what's happening everywhere at the same time, on time?
Yeah.
And we're like, man, Einstein, thank goodness you came, because we never thought of it because we're lazy. But then there are people like me who just don't like groups. But then I joined it because, he is the boss. He says jump, we jumped. Then was that high enough?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, he's a cool guy, by the way, surprisingly. Unlike our former MD. Lowy, hold yourself. Here we go. So we have this group and we're giving out posts on Twitter, including, for example, Wambui Mbarire, who's in the house in the interview, so that people understand what's happening on different shows and when it's happening. And there's this young, beautiful, very outrageously courageous woman. So once we've added, and she was added, the thing she said blew my mind. Her message, and I quote verbatim, reads, "Hello, and thank you for the add to this group. I will be exiting it shortly as I cannot take on any more labor. Hugs." Yeah. And we're right here for that and anything else you can throw our way. If your WhatsApp group for the office tops that, please share it with us. We'd love to hear. Here's some SWV setting the stage before we join Wambui Mbarire on the discussion that you've been waiting for on Capital in the Morning with Chico and Falaris. music, depending on which era you come from, whatever age group you're in, we're there to satisfy you with the hits of that time and educate you with the hits that you probably didn't know about. That's what we're here for. That's why we're the best mix of music, and that's why we're always looking forward to a brand new day every single morning to hang out with you. Talk to us via WhatsApp 0701 984 984, or you could do it via X. Our handle is at 984 in the morning. Hashtag is drive in. That's spelled with a double N. Speaking of what's up, got a message and it says that is the employee of the year. We thought so too. We're just waiting for her to be the former employee of the year, but that's clearly not happening. So I guess we're free to share our thoughts. Meanwhile, about share your thoughts on the conversation we're about to have alongside Philaris. We have been joined by the CEO of RETRAK. That is Wambui Mbarire, MBS. We're talking about the impact of protests on the retail market. If there's anyone that's been hard hit, it has got to be the people in business. And we have seen some heartbreaking shots. We have heard some heartbreaking stories. Now we're trying to look behind that veil and get some deeper understanding of the situation that they're facing, courtesy of the constant protests that are going around, because the government of the day and the generation that is shouting loudest are clearly, the disparity is clear, and one is not listening to the other and none is giving up, and that ultimately, ndovu wawili wakipigana wasemavyo wahenga bwana, nyasi ndio umia. Najua nimekupoteza kidogo pale dadangu Felaris, ila usijali, tutarejea kwa lugha ya Kimombo baada ya muda kidogo tu. Kwa hivyo tumejoiniwa hapa na Wambui Mbarire, and she's going to talk us through the reality on that ground.
And just for anyone that is not familiar with the acronym RETRAK, well, that is Retail Trade Association of Kenya. Now, of course, all of us have seen how supermarkets, really took a hit when it came to looters. And this is not just here in Nairobi, it's across the country. So maybe first things first, Wambui, karibu sana. People need to hear your voice. And I'm happy that these two Wambuis in studio today. It's just a thing. It's sorry, they didn't hear your voice the first time, but maybe to start things first from what the experience was like for members of RETRAK across the country, because I do believe your association represents all retail units across the country.
As many as will join the membership.
How many members do you have at the moment?
So maybe I just start with an introduction of what the association is. The Retail Trade Association of Kenya is a membership organization for the retail sector. In Kenya, speak retail usually means supermarkets, but really retail is everything where you're selling to an end consumer. So we have 3 sections within the association. The largest retailers obviously are the supermarkets, but then we have what we call specialty retail that makes up everything else. For example, within where your studios are located, all the other shops that are not supermarkets are specialty retail. They're either doing books, fashion, shoes, etc. And then, of course, there's food retail that makes up the eateries within here, KFC, Java, Art Cafe, etc. We represent largely what we call formal retail, and formal is defined by the fact that we want to assume KRA knows you. So if KRA doesn't know you, you're not considered formal. Yeah. So that's our target market. So how many members do we have? We represent over 1,000 outlets. Retail is corporate based, so 1,000 outlets would mean Naivas has 110 branches. Textbook Center has upwards of 10, etc. Working out to over 1,000 outlets.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite, and I like that you've actually broken it down that way, because every time we hear the word retail, the assumption is just, again, your supermarkets.
Yeah.
But then again, these other businesses that operate with that kind of model. Now, let's switch gears to last year and this year. I want to compare 2025 and 2024 and this year. I'm jumping years ahead. What would you say, and maybe not even maybe just from your analysis, what the impact was from the protest last year? Because then last year in June we did see the mother of all protests, and then this year. How would you compare the two?
Almost night and day. Last year was intense. There was a lot. I mean, the demonstrations result in closing. There was a bit of looting, and a bit is relative. But
When you say a bit, would we have figures to that?
That has kind of been overtaken by this year's figures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
This year is probably 10 times worse, because this year not only did we have the demonstrations, we had looting and we had distraction. Pick any of the supermarkets that were hit, for example. The looters not only carried away stocks, they destroyed the structure. So if last year I needed to restock, this year I need to put up infrastructure and restock. We were looking at it yesterday and we were saying, if I look at the supermarket sector and a few of the other bigger retails, we're at 2B for restoration in this year's distractions. There are people who will not be opening in the next 2-3 months. Last year we were able to come back faster because, again, as I said, it was stock matters mainly. There was no distraction of property last year.
Yeah.
In spite of the fact that last year it kind of became a Tuesday, Thursday every day, but
Yes.
we didn't get
Yeah.
into the distraction that we've seen this year. This year it's beyond looting, actually. It's really very intentional distraction, because last year people carried away flour, for example. This year some people carry, some people just stare it and pour it. So
It's
it doesn't-
vandalism.
It's
It's-
vandalism.
yeah.
It doesn't look. It looks nothing compared to last year, and you're almost lost to what is this madness?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know we've tried, so because we've kind of keep going through it. So for this year, we've had the June activity, and then we had Sabasaba. So pre-June, because you know something's going to happen, you talk to the cops so that they're giving security to the supermarkets. Either they are overwhelmed, but at some point even the cops are not there anymore, so you're really on your own. Guys have resorted, fast forward to Sabasaba, to looking for local businessmen to protect your property. And that comes at a cost, because one, you might not be able to get cops. Two, when the cops get overwhelmed, they walk away. We have counties where the administration has been more reactive and really helpful. I think Kitengela didn't really get hit in terms of distraction.
Okay.
There was looting, but I think they were repelled in good time. Kiambu was total madness. I think this particular year's demonstrations and looting really hit Kiambu as a county. That's where we saw, like we saw in the news, guys like County, Magunas, all getting hit during this year's distractions.
The
So
distractions,
there is actually no comparison between last year and this year. And our prayer is that there's some dialogue between now and the next month, for example.
Because then that's operating on uncertainty from
Yeah.
where we speak, because then you really don't know when protests are going to happen, what the risk is, the level of risk at that point. You
Yeah.
did mention 2 billion shillings.
Yeah.
Is that just on the valuation on property, or is that plus goods?
Plus goods.
Oh,
Plus
goodness.
goods. Plus
When you think about the economic effect of 2 billion shillings, now we've often spoken about how we've almost been desensitized to just how much a million is. Now we're speaking about 2
Billions,
billion
like nothing.
shillings.
Yeah.
But now that's
Yeah.
2 billion shillings that, of course, not only affects the business people, but there's
Yeah.
a ripple effect
Totally.
to all the
Totally.
families that depend on these businesses to be able to put a meal
Yeah.
on their tables.
Yeah, because when you want to come back, there are many things you're going to consider. The cost you already having to incur to put up your structure, restock. It gives you an opportunity, unfortunately, to relook at your numbers.
Yes.
And those numbers include staffing. In an era where part of the ask is employment, this is helping increase the unemployment. So if you
Yes.
think about a county, for example, where a county or Magunas that was burnt down, no one is employed right now. So everyone go home. We will see how to recall and bring you back. But in the meantime, even you can see we are not doing any business. So really, how am I paying you? So you're out of a job. I said it's time to reorganize yourself, because then you have to cut down on your cost to be able to rebuild. So if I had 20, maybe I'll only bring back 10.
10.
So you've expounded the problem again.
Correct.
Yeah.
And we're going to come back with Mbarire and have a discussion, because one of the things you said is we're hoping that there will be some dialogue between now and next month, just to ensure that we protect the retailers.
Yeah.
Which then means there's a lot of uncertainty. And what does that mean for the businesses, for these retail businesses? And what does that mean overall, financially, emotionally, the future? What does that look like? We'll talk about insurance companies, because with the destruction, how much money do you get? Is it covered? What kind of coverings can we expect? So other people in businesses can also have a bit of education in terms of insuring their own businesses. We have a host of things to talk about, and we'll be right back with her in just a moment. Right now, though, we're about to cross over to the headlines and the sports news.
What's up, y'all? This is Alicia Keys.
It's not just a blog.
What's up, y'all? I'm Beyonce.
It's the art of living. Capital Lifestyle, where every story is a front row seat to the extraordinary. We don't follow trends. We set them. From the glimmer of couture runways to the glow of candlelit dinners, from the thrill of fairway destinations to moments that turn ordinary into unforgettable. This is life elevated. Your next adventure, your next indulgence, your next inspiration starts here. Find us at capitalfm.co.ke/lifestyle. Connect with us at lifestyle@capitalfm.co.ke and follow the journey with Kenya's undisputed premier lifestyle connoisseur, Vinny O. On socials at Captain Vinny O. Capital Lifestyle. Not just life, the best of it.
In Capital Newsbeat this hour.
Government orders referral hospitals to submit security audit reports within 7 days. Nursing Council CEO suspended over irregular placement of interns, and UK and 27 other nations condemn Israel over inhuman killings.
More in Capital Newsbeat.
Capital Sports Update, where sports is taken seriously.
All right, now Kenya's first female golfer, Wafula, hopes to inspire ladies players to join the professional ranks, and we are fully in support of her as we look forward to her starting off as a professional. I just thought I'd throw that in there because our Fula has done amazing. But where we start off actually is the Confederation of Africa Football, that's CAF. Well, clearing Nyayo and Kasarani, which is great news for football-loving fans out there. Those two stadiums have been cleared to host next month's African Nations Championships, also known as CHAN. Secretary General Veron Mosengo Omba says everything is in place to host a world-class competition, with the exception of a few tweaks here and there.
Top grass is here, the changing room, everything is, we are ready. Of course, yes, something to be fixed, like the chair to put there, to move from one place to another, but we are ready to kick off on 2nd of August.
All right, so we are good to go. The 2nd of August, just a few days away, and we kick off and see how far Harambee Stars can go. In fact, the two venues will be hosting Group A matches, with Kasarani staging the finals of the competition. That will be at the end of August. That's on the 30th. Meanwhile, Sakafa have accused Harambee Stars of unfairness by withdrawing from the Four Nations tournament, which was set to kick off yesterday in Arusha. In a statement, Sakafa Secretary General Auka Gasheo says it was unfair for Kenya to pull out at the last minute after the regional body made so much effort to accommodate the team's extensive needs. Stars withdrew from the tournament, claiming the head coach Benny McCarthy was, get this, not impressed by the preparations made by the organizers of the tournament. Meanwhile, immediate former president of the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, NOC, Paul Tergat, well, he says he is proud of the legacy which he has left at the institution, having led it for 8 years. Tergat says he has left NOC in a better state than when he actually founded back in 2017.
Very proud that NOC is in a different level. So I'm happy to say that I'm handing over an institution that it is not where we found ourselves when we came. It is a very solid institution now.
Yep, solid indeed. The 5-time world cross-country champion is actually set to be replaced by Shadrach Maluki, who won yesterday's polls at the Ole Sereni Hotel in Nairobi.
Capital Sports Update. Up-to-the-minute sports, where sports is taken seriously. This is Capital in the Morning Breakfast Show.
The best mix of music. Capital FM.
Lovely ladies as smooth as they move, cause that's what they say, but I can't prove. So turn it up again and watch me move to the groove. As we get close, you whisper Coco, I hold you in my arms and you say Jumbo. Scream and shout, turn and say Colombo. Now I gotta go, so Coco.
Put me up, put me down, put my feet back on the ground. Put me up, take my heart and make me happy. Put me up, put me down, put my feet back on the ground. Put me up, feel my heart and make me happy.
Yeah, 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 Coco Jumbo, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, 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 Coco Jumbo, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 Coco Jumbo, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the way I treat the girls, kinda smooth too, cause there's one man and you and that's me. See, so let me show you around while you sip your TG. But no coca loco boom while I take a peeling. When I hold my baby, she say I do it nicer. I like my chicken with rice and lemonade. And that's what you get when you shout that jumbo. Now I gotta go, yo Coco.
Put me up, put me down, put my feet back on the ground. Put me up, take my heart and make me happy. Put me up, put me down, put my feet back on the ground. Put me up, feel my heart and make me happy.
Yeah, 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 Coco Jumbo, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 Coco Jumbo, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Singing everybody.
Yeah, 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 Coco Jumbo, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 Coco Jumbo, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Singing everybody.
Yeah, 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 Coco Jumbo, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 Coco Jumbo, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Put me up, put me down, put my feet back on the ground. Put me up, take my heart and make me happy. Put me up, put me down, put my feet back on the ground. Put me up, feel my heart and make me happy.
Yeah, 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 Coco Jumbo, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Coco Jumbo.
Yeah, 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 Coco Jumbo, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 Coco Jumbo, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mr. President with Coco Jambo. Good morning. It's Capital in the Morning. Felaris Wambui
And
Mbarire.
Wambui Mbarire from
And
the
Chico.
retail media.
There we go. So we have two Wamboys and myself in studio, and we're about to delve into that conversation once again, which is quite interesting, especially while we were off air. Felaris asked quite the question, and the reply kind of broke my heart. Here we go.
yeah. So insurance.
Yeah.
Often one of those things that we know for sure protects us from uncertainty and just any kind of risk
Yeah.
that would come. But we know the higher the risk, the higher the premiums.
Yeah.
So you find businesses that then undervalue because
Yeah.
then they don't want to pay the premiums,
Yeah.
or certainly do not check all the boxes, because I know
Yeah.
with insurance they tell you, okay, that fire is not covered under that, looting is not covered
Yeah.
under that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe just to try and understand from your members, that is 1,000. So we don't know what percentage were hit by this wave of unrest, looting, vandalism, all of that. Is there a way RETRAK has is having conversations with organizations, financial institutions like, and not financial, but insurance institutions like the IRA, to more or less help those traders that are not able to pay those premiums? Because you did speak of tier one supermarkets and retailers that then would not end up being your majority. Your majority is actually people who then would need the insurance component, but for some reason they can't match the premium. So what role is RETRAK playing in that space?
So that's definitely a conversation that needs to be had. Let's start with the fact that in Kenya, insurance is generally, I think the last I had was 3 or 4%, something like that. The value of it is underestimated, and in retail it is not any different. So if you have a tier one supermarket, we have really worked very hard towards professionalizing our retail, and that tier one or some of tier two will have full value insurance for their stock, for their property, etc. But as you've said, a lot of them are not, a lot of retailers are still in the semi-formal stage.
Correct.
So given that so when we say retail is not a margin business, it's a volume business. So you have to sell a lot to make money.
Correct.
So amongst all the things I need to do, including my rent, pay my staff, etc., and pay insurance, something might give. So I might be insured but underinsured, which means when you get hit like now, that's it. You'll get whatever based on what risk you assumed you were facing. That's the money you will get. But given the destruction we've seen now, chances are that will not cover you back to speed. If you look at all the retailers within town, a lot of them are still informal, in exhibitions, structures across town. Insurance, one of insurance ask is permanent structure, for example. So if I haven't insured the structure, I do not know how, and that's one of the conversations we will have, I do not know how then I can insure the stock alone. That is one. The second one is in that semi-formal status, can I really prove how much stock I had? Because that's a question insurance is going to ask.
Correct.
Are you sure? So what was your stock? Give me the records to verify that what you're claiming is. How many people will be able to give that? Especially given the distraction included of structure, and I know one where they carried off the tills. There's one they carried off we have some people who have metal cash containers. It's like carrying an ATM away. So proving that you had that stock is going to be an issue. So definitely a conversation with IRA is very important. So that we can see how do we support retail, seeing as we are really frontline anytime there's demonstration or distraction. The people on the front line are the retailers, because it's their shops that are on the streets.
Correct. I have another question before we cross over to Chico, because I know he has a few burning ones. What has this particular experience exposed? What's the underbelly that's been exposed from the retailer side of things? What are those things that we made assumptions, maybe were quick to dismiss, but now are really glaring at us when they're like, yeah, we really need to address this?
Sadly, one, that you can get security to protect your property, that you can get instant assistance, especially when it's pre-planned, that something will turn around and you'll be able to secure yourself. That it can get worse. I mean, we have baseline last year. You're supposed to either maintain your baseline, because this is not a good thing to grow on. I mean, the base should have remained at the very worst as it was last year.
Correct.
The inconsistency in terms of the predictability. So already we exist in a system where there's a lot of unpredictability, even in terms of compliance, etc., especially for the retail sector. So that compounds what we have now. So are you sure that tomorrow there won't be something else? are you sure you will get protection? Because I'll give you good examples. Part of the places where there was distraction, people did get police support, but halfway through, either they get overwhelmed or get recalled because there's a more urgent need elsewhere. So again, you're exposed. So for us, the underbelly is security, doesn't really exist as we thought it does. Therefore, you're almost on your own. I know somewhere within Nairobi County where, because from the June 2025, they had looked for police support, and that was there was limited police because I guess they're all over the town. That particular person called the neighborhood people and said, I'll pay you X amount of money, please protect my property. So it's also coming with a cost, an unknown cost that you hadn't budgeted for.
And also the level of control you have for that when you have to do your own mobilization for security then brings to question a lot of things. And you have to be accountable. At the end of the day, you're the people that has called on the business community, as we proudly like to call them, to come and protect your business. I know we did spot a few shops on Thika Road that actually had their own armed security with bows and arrows.
We actually saw, I saw on a clip online of an owner of a supermarket shooting in the air to detract these protesters from coming to his business.
Yes, and it's probably the same guy who had local business, and not local business in the way we talk about it. It's other people who also have smaller businesses. Everyone came out and stood outside their property to make sure it doesn't get hit.
Necessity, when you take that, for example, that sample we just discussed, that man, necessity, as they say, is the mother of all inventions, right? So we saw that as an interesting way for an owner, a retail owner, to protect his businesses and the businesses of others who are under his roof. What other ways have we seen where retailers have come up with a way of trying to stay as safe as possible without obviously crossing over and breaking the law because no one else is actually offering this to them?
The weekend coming to Monday, Saba, if you were in town, everyone was reinforcing their barricaded doors. The doors are already barricaded, but now we were reinforcing. Try and make it a bit harder for anyone to enter. That is one. Then we talked about WhatsApp groups earlier. In many of the WhatsApp groups we have, there was total full conversations, or are we opening or are we not opening? Because even if the distraction won't be there, what are the chances that even the employees are then either not able to get to work, and if they get to work, then they're not able to go home. So let's just close. So there was still not going to be much business because people were thinking, let's not take the risk.
It just out of curiosity, how hard is it? Because we've seen some people, like the ones you're talking about in the stalls, the exhibitions, they don't have the insurance, they probably don't think they can afford it, or it's too high, and then life happens, the demonstrations happen, you lose everything or most of your stuff. How's it been to reopen for majority of the retailers? What's the story like there?
Last year was a bit easier because, as I said, last year it was about restocking. So, but that means you're having a conversation with your supplier because you lost stock that you still need to pay him for. But now you need more stock and you don't have money to pay for the previous stock. So I think it's a good thing that post 2017, retail has kind of had a conversation with the suppliers. So we're able to speak and have conversations that allows you to either spread out further your payments. And I can see that you actually did get hit, so we are better to each other. There are some guys who close. That's it. The end. So we are fighting about unemployment, but we've just sent out more people out.
You know, a lot of times when disaster strikes, the big word and the big ask is always around compensation. Is there anything that has been negotiated by RETRAK with government, any of the governing structures towards compensation?
We had a meeting with the CS of MITI, Industry, Trade and Investment, last week. and we are going to be having a follow-up meeting. We have specific asks, especially for those people who got totally destroyed, because one, KRA is going to come knocking.
Oh, yeah.
KRA is going to come knocking.
He's a taxman.
So can we get some relief? And if we can't get 100% relief, can we get into an agreement on pause on my payment so that I'm able to rebuild, then come back and pay for you? Especially in this case where we've been having, I've seen a lot in the news about, do they call it the red table? People's accounts being frozen. So
Yeah.
they
Oh,
can't do
yeah.
any business.
Yeah.
We don't want those retailers to get onto that, because then you've really killed them. So we are hoping that KRA will give us a listening ear, and hopefully we'll be able to find a way to keep those people who really are technically starting from scratch again to get some relief that allows them to restart and then be able to get back on board.
And to bounce back.
We're talking about the government, and you're talking about talking to KRA, which is an arm of the government. The retailers from the protests and the repercussions of what we're seeing and what is happening to them.
So one,
I know it's a rather unfair question,
Yeah,
but
it is.
it's a realistic question, you know.
It is. So if we go back to the security discussion, I mean, that is kind of the answer. That really basic rights of, and really you can't say that the groups on the ground are the guy, because if you're on the ground, you realize you have different sets of people.
Correct.
Yeah, and you know who to target. I'll give you a small story. In one of our outlets, we had the CCTV. Yeah, and the CCTV, fortunately, was not destroyed. But when you watch the CCTV, you see who is doing the looting.
Yes.
And then
Just in case you're wondering what she's saying, it was actually the police who were patrolling who were doing the looting and carrying away.
yeah, and that was captured. So
items.
the question becomes: so I have evidence. Who am I taking it to?
The very same authorities.
Yeah, and how much action will you get out of that?
You know, the sad part about that is, and this is slightly, diverting us to a certain, but it'll bring us back, I'll circle back, is that I have a cousin who was robbed in a matatu a few years ago, right? And they were beaten up, blah, blah, blah. They took their clothes, their shoes, and everything that they could find and left them stranded. You make your way to the police station, Buruburu police station to be exact, and you walk in to complain, and the people at that reception, the police at the reception, are the very same people who had robbed you. He turned around with the other people and walked right out, because what do you come in and say? How safe are you?
Yeah.
What do you complain? How do you complain when
Yeah.
the person I'm complaining to is the very person who has committed this crime against
Yeah.
me? And that, I feel, is the same predicament you
same
find. So
yeah.
what now? What would you guys like to see happen? What would be the ideal situation and course of action from the government to ensure that you, as RETRAK and retailers, feel a sense of
Safety.
belonging and safety?
Yeah.
And safety is the right word, actually.
I think the first thing is, I don't want to talk about dialogue, because I think there's dialogue that's one-sided, or everyone's talking to everyone and no one is listening to the other person.
Correct.
So there are real problems on the ground. There is unemployment. Fact. We have a youthful nation. Fact. These issues that have been put on the table, can we face them squarely? Private sector is meant to be the creator of employment.
Correct.
I don't think government can employ all of us. So private sector is supposed to be the creator of employment. Can we then have a conversation between government and private sector to really clean out our system, to facilitate business to do better, to be able to grow and create those jobs? As we go into a tech era, can we create a conducive environment for, I keep saying, and again, I'm trying to keep away from the politics. there are things we are very passionate about as Kenyans. One of those is, I give examples of supermarkets. And the reason South Africans don't survive in Kenya is because Kenyans are very, I want my product. So if you bring me South African products, I'm like, maybe I'll look after them after I've done my basic 10.
Correct.
So Buy Kenya, Build Kenya is a thing. And to really make it a thing, we need people to own it. So provide a tech environment, all our bodies that are supposed to be promoting it, give those guys, everyone can become an influencer, but you have to create an environment
Conducive
that allows
environment.
them to take it up. But basic for me is create a conducive business environment. Private sector will create the jobs. But that has to be, compliance is very difficult in this country. We always say the average supermarket has a minimum of 25 licenses. 25 licenses before you open a door. And then we don't have clarity on what we really should pay on. No one gives you a list and says here. And I keep saying that would really be awesome, because then, one, it reduces opportunities of rent seeking, because then if I know I should have 25, I can tick them off. And when you come and ask me for number 26, I'll say, wait a minute, but it's not on the list. So make compliance easier. Let people know what they should be complying to. Make compliance affordable. Because also, affordability is another thing about compliance. People want to be compliant, but is it affordable?
Yes.
Is it easy to comply? You know, I mean, there's talk always about our national tax policy and effecting it, because then you also want, even as we have all this other stuff going on that creates unpredictability, our policies also create unpredictability. We live year on year because you don't know what else is happening in the next budget reading. It would be great to know that this is the policy now and it's in place. This is the levy now and it's in place for the next 2 years, on the next 3 years, so that you're also able to plan your business.
You know, it is said a lack of planning is you're doomed to fail either way. And we see a situation where, yes, as a business owner, you could be prepared, but the stakeholders that you have to work with ultimately end up costing you. I feel like you should definitely be a guest on the Financial Focused, because we can get to look at a bit more in-depth things, like you did mention tax policies and just what is the cost of really doing business in this environment as a retailer and all of that. But for now, this is where we'll put a pin on it. We'll definitely continue with this conversation. Thank you so much, Wambui Mbarire, who's the CEO of RETRAK, for sharing very honest insights and reminding us of just how interconnected our economy really is. And to you in business, I mean, this is an interview that you could always catch on our social media handles. We've been live streaming. We have it recorded. You can always go back, and any questions that you might have, please send them across to 0701 984 984. Thank you so much, Wambui.
Thank you for having me.
98.4 Capital FM. On location.
All right, so now we get a chance to cross over to the Ulinzi Sports Complex, where Alex Isaboke, part of the Saturday Music and Sports team, also part of the team that